hope everyone is having a fantastic weekend. And everybody is feeling all these amazing energies going on right now. This is part 2 from our last reading. We have the Page of Cups, the 5 of Cups, and the 7 of Pentacles. So we'll start out with the Page of Cups being a suit of emotions, and the page in each suit is the holder of the energy for that suit. And this card is specifically saying about someone who wants to be of service, or there's some kind of emotional news coming in, or news of love, maybe a happy surprise or good luck. Or it could be maybe not so happy news with waves of emotion coming in with it. It's unconscious feelings being pushed to the front of our consciousness. The 5 of Cups, again, cups being the suit of emotions, and you can see in the picture that there's 3 cups spilled over and 2 cups still full. Sometimes we forget to remember the things that we still have and only dwell on the things that we no longer have. This card reminds us to, switch our perspective. Remember what you still have. Remembering that not everything is meant for you. Or maybe at that time, you needed to learn certain lessons. And that's why 3 were being taken away. But you gotta remember that you still have a remaining 2. But it's okay to feel a little bit sad when we lose things, or when we lose a certain amount of emotional stability. But you gotta remember that you still have 2. So you still have 2 cups full of emotional stability that you can still be able to move on and enter the next chapter without feeling completely empty. Don't remain focused only on what you have lost, but instead what you have yet to gain. So we have a 5 of Cups here, but we have yet to gain the other 5 cups to make a 10 of Cups, Open up your soul, your heart, and realize what you need to see. Work on the things that you need to work on before you can be complete, It's just that card of reminding us to change our perspective in order to gain full emotional stability. And then we have the 7 of Pentacles, 7 being the number of spirituality and wisdom. Realizing that in the past, you put way too much time and effort into situations and people who didn't have your best interests in mind, who were using or draining you of your worth and eventual blessings. Maybe the 3 cups that spilled over were cups of emotion that weren't meant for you because they were draining you of your energy. You know what I mean? Those emotions were draining you of your energy and preventing you from gaining all of these 7 pentacles that were meant for you. Were you using somebody and you had to realize that you using somebody else and draining them was preventing them from moving on and becoming their higher self. Part of he's like looking at the 7 pentacles that he's worked so hard for and he's earned, but remembering all the hard work that he had to put into getting there. The waves of the emotions, the unconscious feelings and situations that were being brought to the forthright of our conscious mind, and maybe bringing a little bit of pain with that, with the feeling sad or sorry for yourself and whatnot. But now you're appreciating all of that pain and hard work that came before, because now that you have received your blessings, you can look back on all those other things that happened beforehand and realize that you had to go through those things in order to get to where you are now. You know, realizing that you put way too much time and energy and love and emotions into people and places and situations that weren't meant for you, or that weren't bringing you any success, or you were dwelling on those things for way too long, hoping that you could refill those cups or whatnot. But now realizing that you didn't need those cups refilled, you needed new ones to be built upon. You know what I mean? You had to let go of those past situations and those past circumstances in order to gain the ones that would bring you to your eventual happiness, your eventual emotional stability. So to recap, we have the Page of Cups, who brings in this fresh newness, or this wave of emotion that's being brought to the forefront. All these unconscious feelings suddenly now in your conscious mind. Some kind of news makes you stop and feel a bit emotional, not knowing whether you should be happy or sad. So you're kind of pausing for a second and just trying to contemplate what to do with this new news that is being brought to you, you know? And then the Five of Cups being spending way too much time feeling sorry or disappointed about all these three cups that have spilled over, but not even looking at the two cups that you still have full, you know? And being stuck in that despair of loss of those emotions, or despair, staying stuck in this mindset of just only seeing what you've lost and not what is yet to come, or not realizing that maybe you need these emotions spilled out in order to fill yourself with better emotions, more fulfillment and happiness and wholeness. And then finally getting to the Seven of Pentacles and really reminiscing over all the hard things, hard situations, difficult times and periods you had with certain people who were just pulling all of your energy and taking all of your emotional security out of you, leaving you in dark places, and now realizing that you had to go through these situations in order to get where you are now, in order to have these Seven Pentacles. You had to go through these things. You had to deal with these people. But now you realize why you also needed to let those people or those emotions go, and why they needed to be brought to your attention, why you needed to understand why you needed to let them go, or why the universe would put you in these situations and place you with these certain peoples in the get-go. Now that you're seeing all of this that you had in front of all of these blessings that you have in front of you, now you understand that each situation, each heartache, each pain, each thing you had to give up was all meant to get you where you are today. So, what are you holding on to that the universe is telling you this person or this situation had its time and place? It was put into your life for a reason, but only for a season. And if you continue holding on to this situation, this person, this emotion, instead of letting it go, you won't get your eventual blessings. Sometimes we gain a certain amount of insight, and then we sit with that insight for a little bit, and then we just think, darn, I wish I wouldn't have known this. Like, I wish this never even came to my attention, because now that I know this a bit of emotional information, now I know that this person has to be let go, or this emotion has to be let go, or this heartache has to be let go, or this trauma has to be let go. And you sit with it, and you're so disappointed that you had to let it go, or that you had to dive into that emotion in order to figure out why that certain thing or certain situation keeps triggering you. You know, like a childhood trauma, you go through something so traumatic, at some point in your life, and maybe you blocked it out of your mind for a little bit, until later on, a few years later, a situation pops up, and this situation triggers this emotional response within you, and you just can't quite figure out why you're so triggered by this. Well, instead of just being like, oh, I don't know why I'm triggered by this, and I'm just going to continue living in this trigger that I'm in, and continue being, upset or emotional or sad, maybe I should figure out why this is making me sad. Why did this trigger me in the first place? And then when you dive in and you sit with those feelings, but then not only do you sit with them, you start asking yourself questions, you start journaling about it, you start asking your spirit guides and angels and stuff to reveal the emotional trauma behind that trigger. That's when you're able to move on, and you're able to gain so much more stability in life, so much more blessings in life. And if you choose to sit with that stuff and never figure out the core reasons why these things are happening to you, or why the universe put this stuff into your life only to want you to, get rid of it later, then you'll never receive the eventual emotional and financial stability that is yours to gain. So I hope this makes sense, and I'm looking forward to posting another reading here soon. Again, this is part 2 of the full moon reading that I posted last week. If you have any questions, hit me up. If you want a personal reading, message me, comment. You can look me up on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, Tara Lynn or TM Lynn for you. And, as always, I hope you go within and think about these lessons that Spirit is sharing with you, and dig deep in order to get those blessings that you so deserve. Okay, have a great week. Bye.